and welcome to today's presentation entitled Islam and Terrorism. Does Islam condone violence? Now, before we begin, I wanted to talk about the idea that a group of people, say such as the Taliban or al-Qaeda, how people claim that they represent Islam because they themselves say they do. However, this is not necessarily the case, that a group of people do not necessarily represent what they claim to be following. For example, the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, is an organization with Christian basis, but nobody claims that they follow true Christianity. And similar is the case here. As a matter of fact, if you look, more people have died in the name of Christianity than in the name of Islam throughout the years, but such as in the Crusades. But still, people do not consider Christianity a violent religion. And furthermore, religion has not been the main cause of death in our lives. I mean, more people have died because of greed. More people died in World War II than people have died in terrorism, in the name of terrorism or religion or anything like that. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. People love to point to the violent verses in the Quran that tell people to fight back and kill the Christians and the Jews and the non-Muslims. But what is this all about? If we look at these verses in the Quran and we look at the revelation of them, you will notice that they were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, during the times of battle, when the Muslims were at war. Now, if the Muslims were at war, what type of revelation would you expect? Islam does not tell somebody to sit back and take a beating. If you are at war with somebody, Islam tells you that you need to defend yourself. If somebody is trying to kill you, you need to answer that. And that is what these violent verses are talking about. They are telling the Muslims in times of war that they need to fight back. The fact of the matter is, Islam does not tell Muslims to kill Christians or Jews. You know, like I live in the United States of America. It does not tell me to walk down the street and kill my neighbor. Absolutely not. This is ridiculous. I mean, as a matter of fact, Muslims are like I, for example, Islamically am permitted to marry a Christian lady or a Jewish lady. This is allowed for me. How could this possibly be allowed for me if I was told to beat or kill my wife? If I was told to kill my wife, that would not make sense because I am married to her. So the fact of the matter is, we are not told to kill Christians and Jews. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad, one of his neighbors was a Jewish lady, and he treated her very well and he honored her during his lifetime when he was living in Medina. Another fact of the matter is, if you look at the Islamic law for non-Muslims living in Muslim countries, and granted there might not be a truly Islamic state out there now, but if you look at Islamic law and you see that for somebody who is living in a Jewish or a Christian person that lives in an Islamic country, and he pays the jizya, which is the tax. And first of all, people love to rag on the tax quite a bit, the non-Muslim tax. But the fact of the matter is, this tax is significantly less than the tax we pay here in the United States or Canada or anywhere else like that. And then furthermore, Muslims themselves have to pay a mandatory 2.5% tax as a charity tax, which non-Muslims, such as Christian Jews, are not required to pay. So instead, they end up paying the jizya. Now, furthermore, if you're a non-Muslim living in a Muslim country and you pay the jizya, you don't have to participate in the army. Actually, you do not. You are guaranteed your house, your home, and territory is guaranteed protection from the Muslim army, and you are not required to be a part of it. It's actually a pretty good deal for a non-Muslim living in a Muslim land. Furthermore, if you are say you are a Christian living in a Muslim land, not only are you guaranteed protection and rights, but you are guaranteed to, like, for example, alcohol is not prohibited in Christian law. It is prohibited in Islamic law, though. So a Christian man is allowed to drink alcohol in the luxury of his own home in a Muslim country. Obviously, he can't go out in public, and there's no bars in a Muslim country, but he can't go out in public and humiliate himself and be like, I'm drinking alcohol and you can't. But he is guaranteed that right to be able to drink alcohol in his own house because it is guaranteed to him by Christian law. And he cannot be, and he is guaranteed protection from the Muslim army regardless. So basically, does Islam condone terrorism? Does Islam condone violence? Absolutely not. Islam preaches Islam preaches protection of Christians and Jews in Muslim lands. And if you look at history, in the 1400s, when the Muslims were driven out of Spain, the Jews followed them. The Jews followed them to Muslim land. Why? Because the Christians in the New Spain, they would persecute the Jews, and the Jews knew they had protection. They were protected in Muslim lands, so they fled to Morocco and other Muslim lands. So the fact of the matter is, Islam is not a violent religion. It does not condone terrorism. And when people point to the Quran to point to these violent verses, you need to take a step back and look at the reason for these verses. You need to look at the revelation of them and the time of revelation for them. And that is basically what this talk is trying to establish, that Islam does not promote terrorism, and in fact, Islam is actually a very peaceful religion. If you have any questions whatsoever on this topic or any other topic, you may email me at yislam101@gmail.com. Again, that's yislam101@gmail.com. I thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you, and take care.